Yes, karibuni kwa show yetu siku ya leo. We evaluate what is happening in the nation because it is worth noting. Lakini huyu Ruto ameisha bana. Anaulizwa swali anasema amekuwa kama yule beste wetu wa Uganda. Aliulizwa swali anasema anyway, karibuni. Gachagua is in the US. We are hoping that ile opposition imebaki itaweza kufanya mambos. So we will also be following Gachagua activities inside America. We hope that he will be able to do things. He will do a lot of mobilization of people in the West, as well as doing a lot of talking and also doing a lot of solicitation. Kipurira ananiambianga all the time, hawa wazee ni pesa wanakuanga wakitafuta, so kama ataweza kupata ni sawa. So welcome to our show tonight. I hope that umeshinda vizuri na nawangojea hapa. So situanzie na hiyo speech ya Ruto akisema So then from there nitawaonesha arrival ya Gachagua in the US. So leo kuna meal. Things are a lot. Maybe I can begin with Kalonzo. Kalonzo, unajua sasa, now that Gachagua ameenda, itabidi wao sasa washike. So let's see this brief press conference from Kalonzo.
Quick question. We've seen IEBC is on the spot for a flawed procurement tendering process, straight from the tender that they advertised on their website. And a company has gone to court saying that what IEBC advertised was tailor-made for a certain company, in the sense that it was predetermined that that company will be given that tender. What is your reaction to which electoral technology should also have?
We are following this matter very closely. That's all I can say, because Kenyans expect nothing. Kenyans are fed up with stolen elections. Hawezi tena kukubali mambo haya. Kwa hivyo, whatever it is that they are trying to do, I just want to tell you that on the 9th of October, the United Alternative Government has called, together with other stakeholders, for a consultative forum to ask IEBC to explain to the country how prepared they are to hold the next election. And therefore, procurement of election materials and the systems is a key component. I don't want to give the impression I'm entering their space, but they also have a duty to ensure that all the stakeholders are comfortable. If those allegations are true, then it's a very serious verdict on the new IEBC. As we have always told them, they have a duty to prove they are not a William Ruto commission. They are an independent electoral boundaries commission. where those who are aggrieved in the procurement process have gotten, as you mentioned, to the appeals board, then it has to be heard. They have to be heard, and of course others, but so that they act expeditiously. We want the appeals board, for example, to very quickly dispense with this matter, because Kenyans cannot have one day, an extra day for William Ruto's administration because of delayed procurement processes. Some of us have expressed ourselves very clearly on this mathematic thing, all right? Because the system has been everywhere in the world, from Venezuela, from wherever, even in the United States, they were actually given a negative, a red card. But that having been said, we wait until the 9th. Before the 9th of October, the IEBC must come out clear on their procurement processes. Maybe there are other agents, because they put up an international tender. We hope they will be able to deliberate on these things transparently. If indeed it is true, they are tailor-made specifications, they have a case to answer, okay? That's what I can say for now. I've issued a statement myself on the importance of this day, the 27th day of August 2027, because 16 years of devolution, for example. Is this president and this administration committed to devolution? When I co-chaired the NADCO committee, we recommended, for example, that even as we speak, counties should be getting not less than 20%, all right, of the shared revenue, up from 15%. Of course, some of us hold the view we'll give this a very serious matter consideration, and we propose 35%, from 15% to 35% of shared revenue, so that we can develop every part of this country. So these ones are giving lip service. And one of the things I've said is we have to give Constitution Day the greater significance than going to KICC and issuing a statement. You know, Kenyans now have a problem, a real big problem. The president himself said that he's going to deal with fellows who do it goons. He should start by dealing with himself, because this is an administration which gives space and comfort and support to goonism. Let him start there.
Like a relentless weed, moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms can keep coming back.
Yeah, story. Karibu Sara, unajua hiyo story ya IEBC, it's now becoming very hot. Mbaya sana. Hiyo story it is really becoming very hot. I think Ruto cannot continue burying his head in the sand, pretending that Wakenya wafuati hiyo story ya IEBC. Wacha tuone Ruto akiulizwa maswali.
When we, the people, created the legislative arms of government and parliament in particular, we created a parliament that would represent us, that would create laws that we'd follow, and that would oversight the executive. Many complaints have been made in the public about the parliament's role of oversighting the executive. Not just the 13th parliament, the 12th parliament, the 11th parliament under the 2010 constitution. Is parliament, as constituted, maybe politically or otherwise, able to properly oversight the executive?
Thank you, Latif. And before I answer what your statement comes from, I first want to say we are here to discuss Katiba at 16 and what we have done.
Before I answer what your assessment comes from, kumaanisha he believes that this guy is not anyway. Sara, wacha tu tumsikilize. Nataka uone how Ruto regime is ending. Mimi nimesikiliza hawa leo nikaona hawa watu wanaenda. Nimewasikiliza, just listen to them, Sara. Hawa watu wanaenda. Na uniambi, na bado ujue siasa ijaanza. Na hivi ndivyo watakuwa anaongea. This one is even beyond steering. Go ahead.
As the National Assembly to implement the Constitution. So let me start with that, because that's our business today. If you look at Article 43, which the President has spoken about very passionately on the issues of health, if you look at the Social Health Authority Act, Parliament, National Assembly passed it. If you look at the Primary Health Act, it was the National Assembly that passed it. If you look at the Emergency, Chronic and Critical Illness Fund, that is the National Assembly. If you look at the Digital Health Act, that's the National Assembly. So on the issue of health, under Article 43, we have made our part. On education, currently we have several laws. We have already, just yesterday, we were debating the an amendment to the Basic Education Act, because again, that's a right. It's a socioeconomic right under Article 43. And further to that, there's more amendments that are going to the Higher Education Loans Board, the Tertiary Institutions Act, the Education Assessment Act, and so on. All those are ongoing. If you look at the right to water, again, we passed the National Water and Storage Authority Act, and that is already in place. If you look at the issue of housing, the Housing Levy Act was passed in Parliament. If you look at the changes that were made to our savings at the National Social Security Fund, again, that law was amended by Parliament to be able to allow an increased amount so that we can increase savings in the country, so that we are not borrowing money from other countries, but we can borrow our own citizens' money. If you look at Social Security, on the money that is given to senior citizens by government, again, that took an act of Parliament. So we can categorically say that as the National Assembly, on the manifesto of the Ruto administration, we have been able to do our part. On the issue of the right to food, again, when you see some of the programs and some of the laws that we are passing, is to ensure that we are able to attain the issue of food security. The courts on many cases has castigated Parliament over public participation, and that's why the Public Participation Act is currently before the House and has gone to the Senate. Again, the National Infrastructure Fund, that's an act of Parliament. The National Sovereign Fund Act, that's from the National Assembly. The government-owned enterprises, that's also that. And just to tell you that Parliament is sensitive to the people, because we represent the people, and that's what the spirit of our Constitution says. When we had the crisis in the Strait of Hormuz, and the prices of fuel was going to go very high, immediately, in exactly one day, we sat until midnight and amended the Value Added Tax Act to be able to bring the price of fuel to at least an acceptable level. So yes, Parliament is doing its part to be able to implement the Constitution. On the matters of oversight, every single day, when we are not sitting in plenary, we are calling to account the executive. I know that the Auditor General was here, and yes, you many times hear the voice of the Auditor General when she has audited a certain institution. Most of the time, it's announced publicly, even before it comes to Parliament. Remember, it does not end with the Auditor General. That report, the Auditor General must bring to the National Assembly, then the relevant committees review them, and then are able to give sanctions where required or give recommendations where required. In the past, Parliament was behind in about 6 or 7 years, but today I can confirm to you as chairperson of the Liaison Committee, the chairpersons have confirmed that Public Accounts Committee is now at 2024-2025 financial year. PIC, the same thing. So we have managed to review the reports. And the challenge had been before that there was only one committee dealing with it. After that, the PIC committee was split into thematic areas so that they can be able to work faster. We've deployed several staff to them to be able to do that. So yes, oversight is live and indeed. And today we go on recess as Parliament. And people think that we go on holiday. Actually, every single committee is sitting for 3 straight weeks to complete their reports, because we are also alive to the fact that it's a year. So yes, I can confidently.
Hawa ni kuisha wanaisha bana. But wasikilizeni tu. Hawa ni kuisha wanaisha. Hata sio kuisha, waliisha kitambo. Hawa There's no
saying that Parliament has done its job, continues to do, and and we have had continuous improvements. We recently had a state of Parliament report, and we're able to see that we've done this much, and we need to make certain changes. Like now we know the outstanding orders have to be changed so that we can have the Public Accounts Committee can be in four of them in thematic areas so that we can work faster for better oversight and accountability. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. And let's account for that. Parliament has passed legislation. The question is, has Parliament processed legislation or passed legislation? When it comes to executive oversight, is Parliament oversighting the executive, or is Parliament, for lack of a better word, tapping the executive on the back?
Not
or on
at
the
all.
wrist?
I think, when you say that we are passing government bills, you must remember we have someone called the majority leader in Parliament. The single job of the majority leader is to table government bills, because if the government has to work, the laws have to be passed. So that is his job. Then there is private members' bills, and then the minority also are able to bring various bills, like the bill on the Basic Education Amendment Act yesterday was by Honorable Oluoch, who is from the minority side, and he has been prosecuting it for almost 2 years. So yes, Parliament is not a rubber stamp, as you try and say. That's a rumor by the media. All right.
The Honorable Speaker, Moses Wetangula, recently spoke of some MPs receiving letters for appointment of teachers. And I know that matter was live, even in Parliament, by some members of Parliament yesterday. As the head of Parliament, how do you respond to this? Is Parliament an extension of the executive, or the recruitment agency of the executive?
Okay, Latif, let me remind you again politely that we're here to discuss and take stock of Katiba at 16.
Indeed it is.
And so I have not come here to discuss rumors that are out there. What you can do when I come to your TV station, that will be a valid question to ask.
Yes, Budi Karibu. Can you imagine Nani Wetangula said, everybody is saying about TSC letters being dished out like Igezeri, and this woman is here saying it's a rumor. Who do they take us for? Budi, go ahead.
At Njiru, you see, you want to act as if this is the first time this thing overstarted because Ruto is in power. Njiru, I mean, you people have been in power for years, and you know this was happening. Njiru, my friend. Njiru, sometimes, unajua, if siasa inakuwa ngumu when we blow things out of proportion.
Unataka kusema watu wangu hata hiyo
no, Njiru wachana maneno ya watu. Don't act as if you're so surprised about this issue.
I'm surprised.
You know, and I know that TSC does not employ people in merit for years. You know, and I know that the army does not employ people in merit. Gachagua told us when they took the government that those who did not vote for Ruto will not be hired in the army. Little did he not know. The purge will be given against him. So the whole issue is about a system that when we are in government, or we purport to be in government, it is sweet to ignore it. Njiru, let me tell you, this thing was even more worse. If you remember, when the teachers strike last time, and Sonko, for some reason, became the truth, but he decoyed them and recorded them, and the kind of deal they made in order for the strike to end. When Raila and Uhuru chose both Kuppet and Nat as a ping pong to campaign and stop the agitation within the teachers to get better salaries, Raila took who? Sosion. Uhuru took home the Kuppet guy. They were all nominated and even put in the education committee. You see, let us not now start blowing things out of proportion because we want to deconstruct Ruto. You're obvious, we will. And there's no way. You know, Wetangula has to pay for what he did or whatever he purported to have said. But the reality is, these letters, I've seen being dished myself in funerals. A couple of years ago, I was in a funeral. A very prominent professor died, you know, somewhere in the scheme there. And Ongeri was the Minister for Education. And as we were seated there, a letter was issued. The other day, when Ngeno was killed, the governor, when the funeral was being held for the people who died with him, in the plane, the governor said this person had received a TSC allocation letter. Now that they are dead, let the wife be given. And the people clapped in a funeral. So, Njiru, this culture of TSC handing letters, it hasn't begun with Ruto, my friend. And it will not end with him. It's a system. Let me tell you, even when Matiang'i was at his highest, look at the merits, ukiangalia vizuri, in terms, and somebody put it very well. When you look at the people who, do you know that you go to a TTC when you're 21, 22, probably maybe at most at 30, and you get employed when you are 50, 47. You only work, why not for Dalmas Otieno who said for 60, which again they returned, the Public Service Commission returned it to 55. You work for 7 years, waiting for retirement. That's the nature of our TTC now. The year, if you look, I want you to go to Google and see the year now that Kenya is employing. It is 2013. 2013, 2011, 2013, depending where you are. But in so-called marginalized areas, they are giving 2023. But in areas like Kisii, if you have to follow merits, it is 2009. So that's not a system that Wetangula all of a sudden found himself in. It has been part and parcel of the presidency. Unfortunately, Ruto is the president. What is happening? They are doing what past presidents did.
So, Budi, and how comes this thing did not balloon during the other regimes? How comes we did not know?
Because Wetangula is loose. Wetangula had a verbal diarrhea. But you cannot tell me that in your area, mtu anamalizanga TTC, anapata tu barua right away. There must be a connection, not by merit. Nobody gets a letter from TSC. Amemaliza leo, unless akona mtu wake. I swear to you, that one given. You know, I know. Today, you know, and I know. People get employed in what?
Maybe I'm out of the equation.
In the army. In the army. You got to give 700,000. Nobody gets employed in the army unless you have some 700,000. You know, I know.
Wow. Mzima.
So your question, how come it's ballooning now? It's for me, it's either we say it's political, or we say we but if we have to go past we've done a very bad job, extremely bad job, and we've been very unfair. Very unfair. You hire women past menopause to become teachers. That's how fair we are.
Aya, wacha Shoria ongee kidogo, then you conclude with her.
So I politely decline to answer.
Okay.
If you've written a book and want to publish it to over 3 billion potential readers, now is your chance. Spines offers a new premium service that any writer could only dream of.
Let me remind all of us that we are here to account for Katiba at 16. It is our constitution. The offices that we created are accountable to the people of Kenya. In all
Yani Ruto ana pretend kwenda kwa mkutano ya katiba. I thought it was another event. Ruto kwa mkutano ya katiba. Enyewe fakery is an art. Bwana Budi, Ruto anaenda mkutano ya katiba. Anyway,
all things that they do, whether they are passing laws or blocking laws. So, the Honorable Deputy Speaker, respectfully, I tell you that the question I'm asking is about accountability.
No, it's a valid question, and as you said, and as I've told you, that for today's session, there's no answer to that. But I can confirm to you that yesterday, the Education Committee was waiting to summon the Teacher Service Commission, because that is the independent commission that is charged to do with the recruitment of teachers. If they are doing it in a different manner other than provided by the law, then they are the ones to be called to account. And that's what I'm saying. That's a conversation for another time, not today.
There's no today, but let's move to the next.
You may question Ruto going.
Honorable Speaker.
Or, that's a very, but for me, at first, I was like you. Why is Ruto? But I think some things are, we can call them are blessings in disguise. And, I thought it was AI, of all things. I thought it was AI. When I heard Ruto say, you vote thieves, you vote people with no vision, you vote, then you are sick people. So I don't feel bad for the entire meeting, because the people who voted for Ruto today, they were told right on their face who they are. Sio sisi tulisema, Ruto actually told them. So we unaweza kuwa unashangaa. For me, even a clock that doesn't work twice a day, it is right. So for me, Njiru, I'll tell you, without a doubt, this was a critical meeting that ended up solving the equation. And if I was a serious presidential candidate, if there is any clip I can put, is 2 clips. Ni ile ya kusema hakuna jamii ambayo iko na shida na Wakikuyu. Na hii, those are the only clips I will play entirely. And I don't need to go throughout the country. Unanielewa? I don't. So wewe ukisikia vibaya juu ya hii meeting, me I'm good with it. I'm very good with it.
Ati mtu anaambia watu ati if you are electing corrupt people.
Put that clip. It's a very good educative, so that anyone who is two-term here can understand who they are, according to Ruto. Yeah, according to Ruto, this is who they are. I mean, the Thembas, the Wekesas, that is what they are.
Yani Ruto anawaibia na bado anasema nyinyi wajinga. Hey.
Yeah, he's looking at you and say, bro, mliniweka hapa, mimi ndaiba. Lakini shida ni yenu, sio nyangu. And I agree. I totally agree. We knew who the guy was. So We unapoangalia ati Ruto alienda kufanya huko nini? Ruto was able, Katiba Day was to tell people that you don't put thieves. When you put thieves there, this is what they do.
Amason Kingi, you're Speaker of the Senate. You served as the county governor for 2 terms. And you know, the role of the Senate that we, the people, established is to defend and promote democracy, devolution. And I want to ask today, is the Senate protecting counties? And can you give us examples where the Senate has actually protected counties, and from what?
Thank you for that question. Indeed, the constitutional mandate of the Senate is basically that, to protect the interests of the county governments. And it does that in different fronts. First is when we are doing the division of revenue between the national government and the county governments. That is where the Senate then pronounces itself as a defender of the county governments. You will note that since inception of devolution, because of the the spirited fight by the Senate, the shareable revenue going to the counties has gradually been increasing. So yes, we have been fighting so hard to make sure that the county governments do not get a raw deal when it comes to sharing the revenue between the national government and the county governments. The other instances, of course, where the Senate comes in to protect the county governments. You've heard of this issue that is, I believe, still very much alive, that touches on the roads, for example. There has been a push from the national government on how to reclassify roads beyond what is presently provided for under the Constitution. And I think the Senate has taken a very firm stand on how we should handle that matter, again, protecting the interests of the county governments. So yes, the Senate has been there fund on behalf of the county governments.
Have there been instances, Honorable Speaker, when the Senate has felt the national government overreaching its mandate to claw into functions of devolution?
I just found out that if you have 2 cars on your car insurance, this is 100% what you should be doing. So I found this website and look at the difference. $159 a month. I thought this was the best price I could find.
Well, if you look at Schedule 4, for example, which demarcates the functions that are preserved by the national government and the functions that are preserved by the county governments, for the period that we have experienced devolution, there has been, of course, a delay in unbundling these functions. And, but by and large, as we speak today, at Katiba at 16, a lot has been done. And unbundling has been done. What
imagine up to there, hold on, just kati hapo kidogo. Imagine up to there, the lies and duplicity. That is a 2-time former governor who knows that the allocated amount of money he had to deal with in terms of the devolved function could not even pay pending bills. He left what we call a deficit. No governor balanced their budget. No governor, even Kivuta sijui Kibwana. Whatever you saw that was, it's because they decoyed and lied. Because, first of all, you are subject to 90% or 99% all the money that you receive are from the national government. And the delays from salaries and now the fee of paying the lawyers who have taken you to court in itself takes almost 30% of all devolved, That alone, for instance, there's a time one, and somebody was saying they took this rich Kalenjin, flamboyant lawyer, 900 million a legal fee. If the county of Nairobi was to employ teachers, that's 1 billion. That is paying teachers of an income of 40,000. All the teachers in all these, Kanjo schools for 10 years in Nairobi. So this is a former governor who understands the problems of devolution and actually the mistakes Uhuru made and Ruto. And the current plight of the present governors with the so-called kuras, all these road development, and then with the plight again of taking money, the government CDF and giving it to what? To MPs to fight governors in terms of bursaries. This is a former governor saying that we have done well in devolution. I just wanted us to note that it's not just a person, it's a former governor who understands the mistakes and the amount of money that is supposed to run the county government. He's lying to us openly. Endelea.
Functions. But again, under our law, a county government can enter into an agreement with the national government. Maybe a function is a preserve of that particular county government, but they can enter into an agreement with the national government to allow the national government to actually undertake that particular function. In such a case, we cannot say the national government is overbearing.
All right, I want to just progress that conversation to, of course, the chair of the Council of Governors, Honorable FCP Abdullahi. As governor who's also in your second term, are there instances where, as governors, you felt that the national government, and I'm not talking about the administration, I'm talking about the national government, has overshot its mandate to claw into devolution?
Thank you very much, Eric. Before I answer your question, let me set mine like everyone else was doing. Devolution has done extremely well, and it's that everyone here that has been on this podium has said it's that one single takeout that has been very beneficial to Kenyans out of our 2010 constitution. And without giving numbers necessarily, if you just look at the expansion in healthcare, in agriculture, in early childhood education, the distances that have reduced for fetching water, and all the number of hospital beds, and I have the data here in a very defined manner, devolution has done extremely well. Now, on the issue of national government and the whole matter of clawback, you'll have to understand that in a robust democracy such as ours, and where we came from, we were not 47 countries coming together. We were one country, and we were not coming out of war, right? We had a very strong centralized government. And the clamor for the new constitution was partly to spread that power at the center and devolve resources and decision-making over those resources. So there'll always be areas of conflict between national and county government. And this is why we have a very elaborate architecture.
Hey, but why don't you use the lane over there? All right, so keep your eye on the ball.
Anyway, mimi huyo governor simuelewi, and I don't think I will ever understand him. Let's have Ruto.
Go to any part of this republic today and mention the word Katiba, and people know that we have a constitution that anchors the fact that we, the people, are the owners of this constitution. We are the sovereign in this constitution. We delegate our sovereignty to institutions and to public offices. And for that reason, we had the various institutions speaking earlier today, and we also have the very top of our arms of government on this panel. Let's clap for them as we start this conversation. I want to start by just acknowledging some of the words that you said, Your Excellency, in your remarks to set the scene for today. You said accountability cannot end with defending institutional territory, or observing procedure, or publishing reports. Ultimately, we must account for outcomes, whether we have protected the sovereignty of the people, upheld human dignity, preserved constitutional order, used public resources responsibly, and brought the rights guaranteed by our constitution within the reach of more citizens. There's no greater responsibility than that's given to the people in our panel today. And I want to start with you, Your Excellency. When you took the oath of office, the first oath of office that you took was the oath of affirmation of allegiance, in which you said, and I remind you, and I'll use the names, please allow me to use your name. I, William Samoei Ruto, in full realization of the high calling I assume as President of the Republic of Kenya, do swear that I'll be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Kenya, that I'll obey, preserve, protect, and defend this Constitution of Kenya as by law established, and all other laws of the Republic, and that I'll protect and uphold the sovereignty, integrity, and dignity of the people of Kenya. Our conversation this afternoon, Your Excellency, the permission with the honorable panelists, I just want us to make it very short. It's about accountability. Accountability for these high offices. At the end of this, the program has you coming to make your closing remarks. So we'll not even do the closing remarks. We'll just do quick accountability for the person and the office that you hold. What have you done to uphold the Constitution? Your Excellency, you swore to obey, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Kenya. Are you aware, sir, that your cabinet is unconstitutional?
This is clogged arteries. This is clogged arteries. This is clogged arteries. And the best thing to unclog your arteries is not cutting soft diet restrictions. And it is definitely not pills from pharma that profit when you stay sick. Take a small amount of this every day before anything touches your mouth. You'll reverse your numbers. When your ankles are puffy by evening, when your stomach stays bloated no matter what you try, when you're wiped out by mid-afternoon and done for the night by 7, your arteries have been narrowing for years. That built-up restricts your circulation, saps your energy, and makes you feel like you got old overnight. You get out of bed stiff, your legs feel like concrete, you're tired for no good reason. This is not getting older.
Thank you very much, Eric. I am fully aware that the court has made a determination and given me time to realizing that that is work in progress to be able to do what I need to do. But in that context, let me speak to my oath of office in a broader context, and to speak to this day, Katiba Day. And as I have said in my earlier statement, this is not just a ritual. This is a time for us to reflect and account for what we have done in 16 years with respect to the tenets, the principles, the mandate, the requirement of our constitution. And putting that in the context of my oath of office and being accountable for that oath of office, and putting it in the context of what, again, I said earlier in terms of how do we account for the authority that we exercise and whether that is making impact on the people of Kenya, especially on what you said, whether more and more citizens are closer to the rights that the Constitution envisaged. And I will say the following, that by way of accountability, when we seek a mandate like the way I did, I made commitments to the people of Kenya. And those commitments were not just statements. They were not just slogans. They were commitments that ultimately I must be held account, because that is what the Constitution demands of me as president. And I would want to put it in this context. Number one, I made commitments about how to transform the nation and what I need to do. And I made proposals to the people of Kenya that this is how I intend to stabilize the economy. This is how I intend to make sure that we have access to health getting to the majority of citizens. This is how I intend to work on making sure that there is decent housing as it's required by the Constitution. This is how education that is provided for as an obligation to government in the Constitution. This is what we are going to do. This is how we are going to work on access to water and all the other requirements of the Constitution. And I can confidently tell the nation today that subsequent to my election and my commitment that I will be faithful to the Constitution, we have done whatever we needed to do, difficult as it may have been, to stabilize our economy. Today, our economy is the 6th largest economy in Africa. Our interest rates have come down. Our exchange rates have come down and stabilized. Our inflation has come down and stabilized. And our sovereign debt position is way different from what it was. We did not only, avoid the default. We've gone ahead to create a much more stable economy.
Allow me to bring it back to my question.
Yeah, let me, so that I don't lose my trend of thought.
Okay.
Let me say that often I have been asked, you committed yourself that you will reduce on debt and on borrowing. And I want to answer that question in this forum because prudent management of public resources is part of accountability, is part of accounting by leaders You know, sometimes we reduce accountability to just be about, you know, corruption and those other things, which are fundamental. But the worst form of corruption is to make a commitment that you have no intention of keeping.
True.
And so when I made a commitment that we are going to think of how to develop our country without burdening ourselves with too much borrowing or debt, and sometimes disproportionately disadvantaging generations that come after us.
Right.
I can say on this podium today, if you look at where we were in terms of debt and where we are today, we have significantly, by multiples, reduced the rate of acquisition of debt in our country. Let me give you an example. When Moi left office, we had a sovereign debt of 630 billion. That is what Kibaki inherited. In 10 years, Kibaki took that sovereign debt to 1.8 trillion. That is 3 times, by a multiple of 3, roughly. When my brother, President Uhuru, left office in 2022, he left behind.
When my brother Uhuru tena, when my brother Uhuru, umesikia hapo? Ikifika hapa, he is not financing. When my brother, hebu sema.
Kibaki took that sovereign debt to 1.8 trillion. That is 3 times, by a multiple of 3, roughly. When my brother, President Uhuru, left office in 2022, he left behind a debt of 10.3 trillion. It had grown by 5 times, 500% in 10 years. In my 5 years, that debt has grown from 10.3 trillion to 13 trillion. In 5 years, that debt has not grown by multiples. It has grown by 27%. And therefore, the commitment I made that while we will continue to invest and develop our country, we will do it in such a manner that we reduce on borrowing, we reduce on debt, and we grow our economy sustainably. So I'm just giving an example of how accountable one must be.
So back to my questions.
I will come to your question. Just allow me to set the context.
I just want to phrase it again.
Yes.
So that we don't lose track of what we are saying. And you've used the words that I do not want to repeat, but let me just use them. Worst form of commitment, of corruption, is making commitments that you do not keep.
Yes.
You made a commitment in your gender charter to have a 50% representation of each gender in your cabinet. Today, your cabinet is unconstitutionally composed of the requirement not more than 2/3 of the same gender. I just want to seek, because the issue here is constitutional accountability.
Correct.
Excellency.
Correct.
So in that regard, because this sends a strong signal to the rest of the Republic, what is your answer to that? Why is the cabinet unconstitutional? What are you going to do about it? There is a court order that has not been vacated by any other court that has given you until the 28th of October to reconstitute your cabinet.
Correct. Precisely what I'm telling you is, in the context of commitments that you make, you may not necessarily get 100%. but you can get 80%. In your estimation, have you passed that exam or did you not pass? If the commitments you made, you have achieved 80%. There are some commitments that are work in progress. But what I was trying to point to you is that of the commitments I made to the people of Kenya, commitments on the economy, commitments on education, commitments on agriculture, commitments on housing, commitments on making sure we control our debt, commitments on making sure that we have universal health coverage, I can confidently say we are at 80%. That does not mean we have discharged every commitment. There are commitments that are outstanding. Among them is that one on making sure that we respect the 2/3 gender principle.
Will you reconstitute the cabinet?
It is, that's a much more simpler thing to say.
Okay, let me just
you know, we are speaking in context.
Yes.
You know, don't make it simplistic.
I am not, sir.
Because, you know, there are many people who are telling me, for example, I heard from exactly what you are saying, you must get 100% for you to have passed. I don't think that is fair to say, for you to have passed, you must get 100%. I think what we are saying is, have we, in the collective assessment of the people of Kenya,
yes,
have we kept our part of the bargain substantively? You remember I used the words progressively in my statement several times. Have we made progress progressively? Yes, we have done. Have we done 100%? No, we have not got 100%. Some of it, as was said here by leaders, is work in progress. And its attainment may not happen today, just the same way the court has ruled.
So you want to start a podcast, but you're not sure how. Riverside's got you covered. First, go to riverside.com and open an account. And when you're ready to record, just
that
jamaa anajaribu kuweka dimina hapa lakini hakuna. Tunajuanga vile anaongeanga. History ya kujifanya humble, we always know that this guy is not humble. Yeye alikuwa amepelekwa coach. Ile unapelekwa mpaka ulimu ikulwe na wasp. Ulimi nakula na wasp ili uongee hivyo. Jamaa anajifanya humble. Kwenda. Ni nyang'au na najui.
Parliament is unconstitutional because of the 2/3 gender rule.
Yes.
That determination was made by court, I think, almost 5 years ago, 6 years ago, to be exact. But it's work in progress. You know, I did make proposals myself to Parliament on how we could attain the 2/3 gender rule. It is still work in progress in Parliament. And I think progressively, without being too aggressive against ourselves, that is work in progress.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency.
This man is very stupid. Kila kitu ni work in progress, work in progress, work in progress. Not following the constitution imekuwa ni work in progress wapi? Not doing the right thing imekuwa ni work in progress wapi? Hata kama kuna mtu alikwambia just go and tell people it is work in progress, wewe wacha kusoma watu ufala bana. Anyway, but unaanguka hata sijui tunaongea nini. Unaenda home.
I want to move to my leadership, the Honorable Chief Justice. As head of the judicial arm of government, the judiciary, we the people, created the judiciary and wanted the judiciary to be the ultimate arbiter and the one that upholds constitutionalism and the rule of law in this country. Madam Chief Justice, there have been questions of integrity within the judiciary. You've addressed them previously, but you continue to address them. The question that I asked to you,
we agree.
Wacha nitoe huyo bana. Huyo ndiye alituimbia kura zetu. Wacha gongo la mtu wa nyumbani. Niko karibu kuamini Roba. Sijui unaamini Roba aje. Unajua unaamini tu Roba because Roba anaongeanga tu polepole na Roba anajiamini sana. Roba ni wale watu ambao hata kitu ajui anaiongea na confidence. Aya, this is somewhere in Kiambu. Alfred Keter.
Kwa hivyo mimi sio mtu wa kutoka mbali, nitarudi hapa. Na mimi najua makosa ambayo tuko nayo kwa hii Kenya ni nyinyi ndio mlichangia sana. Nilijaribu kuongea, hakuna mtu alinisikia. Nikawaambia huyu ni mtoto wetu, lakini mchunge sana. Ni sawa? Hata kule kwake hakuna kura atapata. Msidanganye na watu ati kuna kura siji ati Wakikuyu mmejitenga, ati nyinyi peke yenu mmemkataa. Hata kule kwetu hatumtambui, anaenda nyumbani saa 2 asubuhi. Sawa? Na msirudi nyuma, muambie watoto wenu wote. Kwanza kabisa ningependa kukutana na Moses Kuria. Naona bado anakaa na yeye. Naona mjumbe wenu hapa Katundu South ametoka. Si sawa? So kila mtu ameingia. La mwisho, kufanya makosa sio kosa. Kurudia sio kosa. Nyinyi ndio mlileta Kasongo. Kuna nyimbo hata nimesahau mlikuwa mnaimba sana. Ati kuporoa kiasi. Mpaka tukaelewa na sijui Kikuyu. Mkasema mtatokea kama shafu kumuokoa. Nyinyi ndio mlileta hiyo shida. Tuungane pamoja na msidanganywe kuna mtu atawaambia ati nyinyi ni wa kabila kwa kumkataa. Mlimchagua mkijua ni Ruto kutoka kule kwetu. Ama alikuwa anaitwa Kinuthi ama Ng'ang'a? Hapana. Makosa ni yeye. Yeye mwenyewe ndio amefanya kosa. Nyinyi hakuna makosa mmefanya.
Yeah, the guy is riding in Gachagua rhetoric. Alikuwa anaitwa Ng'ang'a. Yeah, that is Gachagua rhetoric. So you can now start seeing rhetoric imeanzia kuraliana. Ruto tulikuchagua tukua tunajua unaitwa Kipchirchir. Naye Alfred Keter anasema mlimchagua mkua mnajua aitwi Ng'ang'a. So it is messaging coming together. That's how you realize like people are able to talk really.
Anatulazimisha tio, ukiona jambo lolote Ruto anafanya, kuna kitu anatafuta. Aidha ni biashara ama anataka kuwafunga macho. Na mimi nashukuru watu wa Mkalao sana. Mkipata pesa kuleni kabisa sababu ni pesa yenu. Hata nyinyi mtapewa pesa mingi. Juzi umeona wakati Gachagua ameenda kule Murwa Digi kwa Ng'eno. Amerudi jana na kila mtu alikuwa analipwa 10,000 kuhudhuria.
Ngiri 10. Nova. Atitenda. Wewe, Murwa Digi. Ile pale tu Gachagua tu anaenda hivi tu. Gachagua tu anaenda tu pole tu. Mwingine lazima alipe mpaka.
Sasa ndio ukuje kwa rali ya Ruto. Kama kuna mtu wako na shida, ni Ruto. Ruto ndio afanye rali, lazima pesa itolewe mingi. Kwa hivyo mimi nawaomba watu wa Katundu, tushirikiane pamoja, tuhakikishe huyu mtu anaenda one term saa 2 asubuhi mapema. Tuko pamoja. Ama kuna mtu hajaelewa hiyo maneno? Kama kuna mtu haelewi, msikize kutoka kwangu. Ruto ni wa jamii yangu mimi mwenyewe. Na kule kwetu tumemkataa. Tulimsoma mapema, lakini sasa nyinyi ndio mlimkamweka na mbio kutoshinda. Tulimsoma mapema. Mzee Moi wakati ajelazwa alikuwa anasema huyu si mtu mzuri. Uhuru akawaambia amukusikia. Mimi nikasema amusikii. Kwa hivyo nimemaliza vizuri. Si ni sawa? Mtatusaidia hivyo? Utatusaidia wote? Wangapi watapiga one term? Asante sana na Mwenyezi Mungu awabariki. Thank you so much.
Noma sana. Huyo ni Alfred Kita. Yeah, he is a very strong guy, man. Very strong. Aya, wacha tuende sasa. Can you say Luo Nyanza? Luo Nyanza. Luo Nyanza. Ati Luo Nyanza wameambia Gachagua nini? Try us. Sio Luo people. Some fake MP somewhere. Try us. Yeah, huyo Gachagua bwana. The same Gachagua aliambia na kuna demo aliambia Gachagua. Mimi Gachagua na kuona nasikia nya. Ama mmesahau hiyo demo. Wacha sorry, huyu asipotee, wacha nitafute ingine. Amkumbuke uwe mama kama mnasahau wingi ma video zingine sitakuwa nawaonesha. Amkumbuke mama alikuwa anaambia Gachagua mimi nasikia ngwa. Let's see. Huyo dema. Kulikuwa na mrembo alipraise Gachagua vibaya sana. Nitawatafutia yeye. Hebu tuweke haya mabishti wetu weka kwa WhatsApp ili nijue, weka kwa group. Unajua ukiniambia tucheza, I don't know, I have to go and wacha kunipea kazi mingi. Wacha nyinyi watu mnanipea kazi mingi, sijui enda fanya hivi. Bila ikimbudia. Mbudia akitaka video ichezwe ananiwekea. Wacha tusikie Gachagua akiambua jaribu, try us.
We are members of a parliament from Nyanza, have taken note of recent remarks by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua concerning the political direction of Nyanza. While Mr. Gachagua is entitled to pursue his political ambitions and seek support in every part of Kenya, he must understand that Nyanza is neither politically naive nor afflicted by collective amnesia. He cannot quote Nyanza today while attempting to rewrite yesterday. For years, Mr. Gachagua built a political identity around rhetoric that frequently betrayed the Nyanza region and its leadership as being perpetually confrontational and hostile to government. He repeatedly invoked misguided stereotypes of our people as stone throwers and treated our political convictions as something to be feared and or contained. Today, he suddenly claims a different story of special relationship with our people. We therefore ask, which Gachagua should Nyanza believe and why?
I want to remind him that Nyanza remains a pillar in the politics of this country. Nyanza has always helped communities in this country to ascend to power. I want to remind him the late Jaramogi Odinga declared that without Kenyatta freedom, Kenya would not move forward. And it made Kenyatta the first president of the Republic of Kenya. Number two, the late Raila Amolo Odinga declared Kibaki Tosha. And he made people from central Kenya occupy presidency for the second time. I want to confirm this time the pillars of this nation coming from Nyanza, we are going to make President William Samoei Ruto to do a second term as the president of this republic.
The point that we are making is that we don't want provocation. We don't want provocation, and we react very poorly to provocation. And if Honorable Gachagua, I think he has given up on Nyanza. He's not going to try us. But you don't provoke us, and then you say you are coming. And then after that, when we have reacted, you blame us.
Smarter, hands-free unlocking you can trust. Schlage Sense Pro.
An hour ago, Theo airballed the game-winning shot. But at Zaxby, he's dunking all over.
Wala, wakule tu polepole. Hawa wakule tu polepole. Press conference ya kuambia Gachagua asiende Nyanza. Don't provoke us. Hata Otieno, hata nani? Jamaa anaitwa Kajwang, eh? Those guys bwana. They know it is one time. Hata majamu wote wanajua anafagiwa. Nyikar. Now, Gachagua is becoming their punching bag. Si huyu jamaa alikuwa saulika in 2 weeks. Where are they responding to him? Noma sana. Let's see Sifuna.
Registered on the political radar.
Kahora Malala, kama kweli maneno ya Rigiji kuunga Sifuna mkono ni ukweli, mbona hiyo unasema ukiwa hapa usisemi kama uko Mount Kenya? Nataka ujue kwamba Malala, ujue kwamba we are not joking.
Unataka niongee na Sifuna wafanye kazi na Rigiji? Nataka nikisema Sifuna sema Gachagua. Sifuna!
Nairobi, a senator who barely registered on the political radar 6 months ago, just got endorsed in Mount Kenya, not Kakamega, not Western, Mount Kenya. Rigathi Gachagua's own backyard, Cleophas Malala walked straight into Murima and sold Edwin Sifuna to the crowd, and they chanted his name back, timing hours after Gachagua boarded a plane to America. Coincidence? Kenyan politics doesn't do coincidence, it does chess. And right now, William Ruto is staring too sweet over a man he used to dismiss as background noise. Rewind to August 21st, Kakamega, at Boni Khalwale's wife's funeral. A solemn day turned into a political ambush. Khalwale looked Malala dead in the eye and asked the question everyone was whispering: if Gachagua really backs Sifuna, why is Malala only saying it in Western Kenya? Why not say it in the mountain where it actually costs something? That's not a question, that's a dare. And in Kenyan politics, a dare left unanswered is a reputation left in the mud.
Kahora Malala, kama kweli maneno ya Rigiji kuunga Sifuna mkono ni ukweli, mbona hiyo unasema ukiwa hapa usisemi kama uko Mount Kenya? Nataka ujue kwamba Malala, ujue kwamba we are not joking.
Malala answered August 26th and 27th. Video spread like bushfire. Malala standing on Gachagua-linked turf, campaigning for Sifuna, and the mountain crowd doing something nobody expected, chanting the Luhya senator's name, not booing him out, chanting for him. That's the sound of political tectonic plates shifting. And the exit door creaked shut behind Gachagua the very same evening. August 26.
Ikisema Gachagua sema Sifuna. Gachagua. Mimi nawaambia sisi jamii ya Waluya tumeumia vile nyinyi mmeumia, na tumesema tutashikanisha viongozi wetu Edwin Sifuna na Gachagua watoe William Ruto.
Wheels up to the US. Diaspora stops in Portland, Kansas, Dallas, Boston. So while the former DP was crossing the Atlantic, his own party deputy was busy planting Sifuna's flag on his home soil. Malala had already called Sifuna, quote, "this child of ours," back in early August. Now he's saying it where it actually matters. And it's not lost on anyone that the timing reek of a calculated handoff, whether Gachagua likes it or not.
Mimi naona serikali ya William Ruto imeanza kukoroga na kumchenga ndugu yetu Sifuna. Tuangalie vizuri sana kwamba kwa siku 50 you cannot register a new political party. Boni Khalwale, wewe uko na chama yako. Kama unapenda huyu Sifuna, wachana kukuwa party leader wa hiyo chama, patia Sifuna aitumie kutafuta urais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Then you shall know that you are serious. Mtoto wetu haizi kuwa naangaika, anatembea left, right and center, anatafuta chama ya kusimama, na wewe uko na chama. Boni Khalwale, chukua chama yako, patia Sifuna awe party leader kwa hiyo chama, tuende kwa debe kama jamii ya Mlembe.
His wise State House isn't laughing anymore. A July TIFA poll had Sifuna at 15%, leapfrogging Kalonzo Musyoka entirely, trailing Ruto's 24%, but towering over Gachagua's own 7%. In his own region, that's not a rising star, that's a man eating his host's lunch at his own table. Ruto has noticed, and Ruto never wastes ammunition on someone he considers small. He mocks Sifuna's chicken and housing analogy, called critiques Mafala, then accused Uhuru Kenyatta of bankrolling Linda Mwananchi. And when a newspaper asked for proof, the president admitted he'd read it in the papers, the same papers he calls propaganda when it suits him. Sifuna didn't blink. He fired back, quote, "Shenzi, a PhD holder," he said, reduced to quoting headlines. In Kenya, we have a saying, when two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. But right now, Sifuna is in the grass. He's starting to look like a third elephant nobody invited to the fight.
Unajua wale watu ni wakulipwa, wale watu ni wakupangwa, wale watu ni vibaraka.
Anasimama anasema ati Sifuna anapewa pesa na Uhuru. Alafu ngoja tu, Saila anaulizwa, Mheshimiwa Rais, una ushahidi gani kwamba hawa watu walinda mwananchi wanapewa pesa na Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta? Anasema hata yeye alisoma kwa gazeti. Shenzi sana huyu mtu. Unajua hata kama angekuwa mtu intelligent kidogo, angesema nilipewa intelligence reports ya kwamba Sifuna alikutana na Uhuru nyuma ya tent pale, akamdunga mita 1 ama 2 ama 3. Unatuambia gazeti, na at the very same time ile headline ya gazeti ndio anachukia kabisa. Wakati ile headline ya gazeti ilituambia SHA imepoteza bilioni 10, si alisema ni ukora, si alisema ni uongo. Wakati headlines za gazeti zinatuambia ya kwamba pesa zinaibiwa ndani ya serikali yake, anasema hiyo ni porojo, anasema hiyo ni fake news. Lakini hii moja hii ati ndiye anasema ni ukweli, ati nilisoma gazeti ati Sundays. Bwana boss, wako serious tu kidogo, tusonge mbele. Mheshimiwa William Ruto knows he is going home. And the reason why he is going home is because we apply the very same medicine he applied in 2022 to become president. William Ruto rode on the back of a slogan to become president. He was just singing hustler and bottom up. Sisi tumekuja na yetu ya 2027. Nasema tu William Ruto one term. William Ruto one term. Nilisikia akisema ati the bar has been raised. When was the bar raised? When was the bar raised and by whom? Wewe uko hapo ndani kwa sababu ya slogan. Slogan zilisha lini? Atuambie. Na ile kitu mimi najua,
Wakenya wameelewa ajenda yetu. Ni yeye ndio mslow. Yeye ndio amebaki. Yeah. When we speak about the software issues of this country, a return to constitutionalism, a return to the rule of law, a return to equality, Kenyans have understood. We just have one person with a PhD, but he's slow. Hajashika, bado anakaa kituuliza agenda yenu ni gani?
But don't get it twisted. This isn't a done deal. Gachagua hasn't surrendered his own 2027 ambitions to anybody. Malala himself has floated a Gachagua Sifuna ticket, even Sifuna as running mate, not president. And Sifuna's own party vehicle is still tangling up in court. This bridge in Mount Kenya is real, but it's built on plaques, not concrete. But here's the punchline. The president of Kenya is now answering a senator by name, using the language he reserves for actual threats. When the mountain starts chanting for a man from Western Kenya, and Senator starts throwing punches instead of ignoring him, that's not noise. That's the sound of 2027 rearranging itself. Newsroom, Maisha TV, Mesh Msimbi.
It's illegal to drive without car insurance in almost
That is what happened. Sifuna looks acceptable. Even immediately after Gachagua ameenda, jina yake inalia huko hata mlima. Yeah, so he is associable. And when a human being is associable, so Gachagua atakuwa Marekani 50 days unless otherwise. Tunaweza ona sasa vile chama imeachwa. So Gachagua will be in America for 50 days. That must be a serious trip. Kansas, Boston, I think atazunguka.
Senator John Methu has stepped up his political engagements within the Democracy for the Citizens Party following the departure of party leader Rigathi Gachagua for an extended tour of the United States. Methu today brought together several DCP allied members of parliament from Nairobi for a strategic meeting aimed at mapping out the party's activity in the capital. Meeting brought together Embakasi North Member of Parliament James Gakuya, Embakasi Central MP Major Donk, Embakasi West Member of Parliament Mark Mwenje, Kamukunji MP Yusuf Hassan, Roysambu MP Mwafrika, and Starehe MP Amos Mwago. According to Methu, the meeting was focused on developing a clear roadmap for DCP activities across Nairobi as the party continues to strengthen its structures ahead of the 2027 general election. Meeting comes at a significant moment for DCP, with Gachagua now outside the country and expected to spend approximately 50 days in the United States. Methu's decision to convene elected leaders in Nairobi signals an effort to ensure that the party's political machinery remains active even as its leader undertakes his overseas engagements. It also places the Nyandarua senator among the key figures expected to coordinate the party's activities on the ground during Gachagua's absence. DCP has in recent months been seeking to expand its political footprint, particularly by attracting elected leaders and establishing stronger grassroots structures. Nairobi is expected to be one of the key battlegrounds in the 2027 elections because of its large population and significant number of constituencies. For a relatively young political party seeking to establish itself nationally, building a strong presence in the capital could therefore be critical to its electoral ambitions. The involvement of sitting members of parliament gives DCP an existing political network that can potentially be used to mobilize supporters, recruit new members, and strengthen the party's structures at constituency and grassroots level. Among the latest high-profile additions to the party is Kamukunji MP Yusuf Hassan, who formally joined DCP on Tuesday, August 25th. Hassan's entry into the party came as DCP continued its recruitment drive, adding to the number of elected leaders associated with the movement. Nairobi meeting therefore comes as the party seeks to turn that growing political presence into an organized political machine. The immediate focus is expected to be on coordinating party activities, strengthening grassroots mobilization, and expanding DCP's reach across Nairobi's constituencies. This engagement with the lawmakers could also provide a glimpse into how DCP intends to operate when Gachagua is away. Rather than allowing the party's activities to slow down during the absence of its leader, the meeting indicates an attempt to maintain momentum and keep elected leaders engaged.
I'ma be the baddest that you ever done saw.
Not everyone's life runs in straight lines. At Sophia, we get that. Our flexible, affordable.
Sawa. Matiang'i. Wacha tuweke Gaitho. Hata tumekaa sana bila kuona Gaitho hapa. Let's have Gaitho.
Is brought about by the political rhetoric by the likes of Kimani Ichung'wah and Amason Kingi. Amason Kingi amekula Kilifi yote na Malala, pesa yote akapea Malala. Kingi, wewe unakuja unafungua mdomo wako Senate Speaker na pesa yote ya Kilifi. Hakuna hata hospitali moja ulijenga, hakuna hata shule moja ulijenga. Sijui 120 billion yote ulikula na Malala. Hauna haja wewe mzee, nyamaza mahali unatuona wewe, usitubebe ujinga. Don't take our silence for weakness, don't take our silence for consent. Amason Kingi, you need to shut the fuck up. I saw this idiot called Kimani Ichung'wah talking about me at the funeral they were yesterday, saying that I am hiding, pretending that I have been abducted. No, I am hiding, trying to evade abduction. Because how will I be of use to the movement if I'm dead? How will I be of use if I've been dumped in Mau Forest? Please do not use my example. Do not cite me in one of your narcissistic public rhetoric utterances. You useless piece of shit called Kimani Ichung'wah. Why are you speaking about me? Eh? Because you don't have examples to validate your treachery. Yeah, you can only, ati wakati DCI walimweka wote, ndio na yeye akajitokeza akasema atajipeleka na wakili. Ati anajificha kwa sababu anataka kujifanya where did I say I was abducted? I was abducted with the first time the police broke into my house. And because I tweeted, they could not abduct me. But unfortunately for the other victims, they were caught before they could alert the public. They were caught before they could alert their members of their families. So this is a game of time. Every second counts. The person who is almost being abducted, you have to alert people immediately. And so number one thing to do is to restrain your movements. You don't have to go anywhere and everywhere. Number two, you have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to see whether there is a strange car following you. You have to see whether there are strange people following you. And I told you the frame of a policeman, you can always tell it. You always look, they are very upright. They can never camouflage. A policeman will never camouflage in your presence. You will always know a fucking cop. So you know your surroundings, understand your whatever. And then number two, simple tools. Get rid of your SIM card. You can move to a friend's or a relative's house. Use Wi-Fi. You don't even, I'm not here to promote the competitors of Safaricom. No. I'm not promoting either. If you don't have a Safaricom, the better. If you can rely on Wi-Fi, you are home and dry. You don't have to use a SIM card. You don't have to have a SIM card on your phone. If you need M-Pesa, you download the M-Pesa app. Simple tools. You stay alive. If it's going to the shop, have somebody run your errands. If it's doing X, Y, you have other people just doing stuff for you. Don't have to go to the shop. If you can send a boda rider, go. I saw you guys trolling me that I'm being tracked using Glovo. maybe that's why I am still alive. Huh? So simple tips to stay alive. You can see the national outrage. You can see we are all pensive. We are all on the edge. Constant state of anxiety. Why? Because of people just ignoring simple tips. If the police are going to get you, let's make it difficult for them. So that in such a way that by the time they're breaking your door, you're able to alert 2, 3 people. It's a good investment to have CCTV.
Have you ever wanted to see your home from space? With this free satellite Earth Maps tool, you can zoom right down to your exact address.
With backup, so that other people have access to it. So that if you see people with kofias coming to your house, you know these are abductors. This bandwagon of thugs. This bandwagon of killers. It is possible. Had you listened to me on June 25th, I kept telling you Boniface Mwangi had alerted you even weeks earlier. Boniface Mwangi is a sellout. Do not leave CBD. We could have done it then. Now you've endured 6 months of pain, torture, horror, propaganda. All because of listening to people who have been infiltrated, to people whose best interest is for us to remain in a constant cycle of bad governance and malfeasance. Because they know in a merit-oriented environment which will be brought about by good governance, by servant leadership, they know they have no place in such a government structure. Boniface Mwangi knows he has nothing else to contribute to humanity other than shouting, writing proposals to donors. We may not need that donor support once we have good governance and we are able to channel the resources that we grow and we produce locally, and we can be able to channel them to the right places. We may not need even that donor money. But he knows. He knows he's an intellectual dwarf. He knows he has nothing else to offer humanity. He knows he needs to clear his children's Brookhouse school fees through the donor and the government money that he gets from betraying us, from suppressing mass movements. So he's literally shaking in his boots. He's literally losing sleep at the prospect of good governance, because he knows, how will I sustain my high maintenance wife and my kids' lavish lifestyle without the handouts I'm getting from government, from selling out, from betraying, from undermining mass movements? These are long, cold nights for him, I'm telling you. He's wondering, is this the end? Is it all of it? I've been an activist all my life. I don't know how to do anything else. He claims that he sells land. But for him to sustain paying 7 million annually for school fees for his children in Brookhouse, you need to be selling land. You need to be like Tatu City or somebody, one of those big barons who are, or Saiton. Even Saiton themselves are suffering. They're on the brink, on the precipice of bankruptcy. They are not already there. He's telling you he sells plots for sale. How many people sell plots for sale? Can they afford to take their children to Brookhouse? You seem to imagine that he can get money from selling land. That's rubbish. Don't be fed with cock and bull stories. Do the numbers. Numbers don't lie. He's shaking in his boots. Because good governance threatens cartels, threatens oligarchs, threatens the elites. And the elites are not only in one sphere. Even we have elites in the activism and NGO world. People who are now, they are very silent. Their silence is deafening. As we are speaking about removing Ruto, as we are speaking about protesting, they are silent because they know, they are afraid that their sources of revenue, their income streams are going to be disrupted by good governance. So commercial activists are the equivalent of mercenaries because they profit from atrocities. They profit from bad governance. You knowing that, why would you go and place yourself with them? Why would you go in a circle and you start singing those shitty songs with them? Why? Ask yourself those questions which I've thrown at you.
Are you a low-skilled worker looking to immigrate to Canada? Look no further. This video will discuss the top 5 Canadian immigration programs.
Nilikuwa nimesikia kuna maandamano kesho. I don't know how it is. Yeah, I hope I will still be there. Sawa Kipri.
Bado unafuata maandamano.
Nimesikia kuna maandamano kesho. Mbona nisifuate?
Waste of time. There's a guy here. There's a guy here who is a very avid. The way he speaks, I can see he's very biased towards Gachagua, but he's very intelligent. I usually watch him. His analysis, his political analysis is very good.
Umeona Nyanza pia wanaingilia Gachagua. Gachagua is right. Ukiona Gachagua anaingiliwa hivyo, Gachagua is right.
So I'm just about to show you something about that. Where Tulia? So there's a guy called Big Man.
No, kama anaingililia Gachagua simuchezi. Is it a good story?
He's a big fan of Gachagua and you not listening.
Hiyo story unataka kucheza ya Gachagua ni ya kuingililia Gachagua ama ni ya kubarikiza Gachagua? Kama ni ya kuingililia Gachagua niambie zicheze.
Ni mtu wa Gachagua. How many times am I going to tell you?
Na kama sio Gachagua namtoa.
Cheza video.
People would close schools. The children would come out of school. Do you remember when the president used to be like a god? The president would actually walk into your town. People would shut the shops. People would close schools. The children would come out of school and actually sing for him. That was how powerful the president was. Then we got to a place and we were like, nah, this needs to change. So we introduced something. We introduced something that would actually cut down the powers of the president. That thing is called devolution.
Devolution simply means bringing power and resources closer to the people.
The 2010 Constitution was meant to cut down national executive powers. In other words, it was meant to cut the president's power to size.
The sights and sounds at Uhuru Park as Kenyans in their thousands turned up to witness the nation's rebirth.
It was also meant to equalize Kenya, because for many, many decades, certain regions of this country felt almost abandoned.
Before 2010, most decisions and government funds were controlled from the capital, and many communities waited too long for roads, hospitals, and development.
So devolution promised 47 mini presidents, so that even if the main president never got to your area, you had your own now small president.
That is why the 2010 Constitution created 47 counties, so every region could receive its fair share of national resources.
There was 47 more chances to turn every region into in this country into an economic hub.
Today, counties receive funds directly to build hospitals, improve local roads, support farmers, empower youth, and grow small businesses.
Raila Odinga really pushed for that to happen.
Man of the crowd was Raila Odinga, who was welcomed by loud cheers.
So by 2010, consensus birthed our 47 counties.
The new constitution was finally the supreme law of the land.
This business has gone on for a whole 14 years. So today, even as we sit here, we look back and we must ask ourselves, has devolution worked for us or has it worked against us?
There's no single county in Luo Nyanza that has constructed a new level 5 hospital from ground up.
What have they constructed?
You tell me, I haven't seen.
Many counties to date still look as if devolution never happened. And it is because of that that we're making this video today.
Where is our level 5 hospital?
Today, we're investigating these governors. And after investigating them, we are going to rate them from the worst to the best. If you love this kind of content, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Now let's get to the video.
You need to be mad. Be very mad. Governors are joking with our monies. Look at what Kikuyus are doing with money. Then we're there shouting, marginalize. Devolution gave everybody the same stand. There's nothing like marginalization. Devolution gave everybody the same stand. Kila mtu anapewa pesa yake. Kwani ama jamaa wametoa akili wapi ya kujenga hospitali?
You see, for years, politicians have used this word to stir emotions. The word is marginalization.
We have never shied away from saying that Homa Bay has all along been marginalized. From 1963. Actually, we probably got our independence in 2023.
They claim that certain regions were actually intentionally left behind by national government. That would mean the government or the president would actually focus on some areas more than other areas.
How would you say that Homa Bay has been marginalized when the responsibility of allocating resources belongs to Parliament, where Kaluma sits?
Yeah.
How much has he allocated to those roads? Kaluma has the power to allocate and to hold government to account through the oversight role.
Political analyst, that is Odhiambo, recently toured Kirinyaga County and saw something that shattered this whole narrative.
I was in Kerugoya. I saw this big facility that I think Frank is now displaying. And it was looking so beautiful and was written level 5 hospital Kerugoya.
Yeah.
And I asked myself, is this a private facility or public? Then I asked my partner, what do you think this is? Is it a private or public? She told me this is where the minister actually sits.
He found a brand new 1.3 billion Kenya shilling level 5 hospital.
This hospital was built across 3 years, financial years. That is 2018, 2019, up to 2023. And the total cost of this hospital is 1.6 billion shillings.
It is said that Governor Anne Waiguru built this hospital from ground up in just 3 financial years.
Look at this, 1.6 billion has built this thing. 1.6 billion.
Odhiambo looked at this state-of-art facility and asked one simple question.
Then I say, you know what? Let me do a video just to ask our governors from Luoland, where is our money?
It is that question that has led me to do this video because I needed to investigate how our county is really performing and by extension, how are our governors really performing.
You need to be mad. Be very mad. Governors are joking with our monies. Look at what Kikuyus are doing with money.
The truth is, modern marginalization is just a political excuse or a political tool to control the people.
There is nothing called marginalization today because the resources of this country are not distributed by the executive.
The truth is, every single county gets an equitable national revenue share. And for some counties that are more undeveloped than others, they receive an extra allocation through what they call equalization fund. This was meant to help them catch up with counties which seemed or looked more developed than others.
Devolution gives local leaders the power to focus on local needs and gives citizens a stronger voice to demand accountability.
So the question is, why are some counties still lagging behind even after all these things?
Devolution gave everybody the same stand. Kila mtu anapewa pesa yake. Kwani ama jamaa wametoa akili wapi ya kujenga hospitali? Kila mtu amepewa pesa yake ya devolution. Mwache mchezo bwana.
The answer is some governors, to date, they still use public money for personal gain.
Nyi wa Somali, nyi mnaiba pesa ya watu wa Somali, mnakuja mnajenga nayo Eastleigh.
I want us to remind ourselves of a conversation that we've had a few months ago. It was the conversation about the northeastern counties, where we found that most of their children would leave northeastern and come for school in Mount Kenya counties.
If you have to steal, it's okay. Simuibe alafu kuliko kujenga Eastleigh, kuliko kujenga South Sea, kuliko kujenga Lavington. Mwende mjenge Garissa.
The leaders from northeastern kept attacking Rigathi Gachagua, saying that he's a tribal man, until the locals of those places came out and said that these people really do not develop our counties. All they do is take the money and go buy properties in Nairobi.
That's very true. That is very true. That is very true. I don't think there is any governor in Northeastern who fully lives in Northeastern.
A better question is marginalization still a valid excuse in 2026? Or is it just an excuse for leaders who have been stealing from their people?
At this day and time, nobody should use marginalization as a tool to shield incompetence. Nobody. At all. Hata wakina Wajir Mandera.
After evaluating the performance across all these counties, these governors can be described as belonging to two groups of governors. The groups are like this. We have the workers and we have the politicians. These workers can also be called administrators or managers. And the others are just politicians or yappers.
What's wrong with you governors, bwana? Have some sense, bwana. Tumieni pesa ya wananchi. Na nyima MCA, mwache kula pesa hapo. You're just clapping and threatening to impeach.
Let's start with the politicians. These governors spend almost all their times in either political rallies or just discussing things that are largely just politics. You will rarely find them doing something that is actually of use to their citizens. On top of this list is who I think is the worst governor in this country, Gladys Wanga. I've heard some people calling her Gladys Panga.
Sisi tumesema tuko broad base. Wale wako opposition, watu wavae jazi, kila mtu avae jazi yake.
Now, frequently you will see her in political rallies. Where the president is, she will always be there. And someone might think she's going there to get development. No, she just have the blood for politics. She loves politics.
Walituambia hapa Homa Bay kwa sababu muko ndani ya broad base, barabara zote zimewekwa lami. Bwana tumekula vumbi leo.
It was dust, dust, and dust. Now, we will not dwell there. The next governor, and this one is a sad one because he's a respected member of this country. But the problem is, I feel like he's in the wrong job. And some people also seem to agree. This is James Orengo. That's the governor for Siaya.
You know, governor in Kenya who is so tired of being governor like Orengo. Tired. Hiyo maneno sijui ya county assembly.
He's a brilliant legal mind and he's also a seasoned activist. But governing requires administrative execution. And unfortunately, Governor Orengo is not an administrator. He's not a manager. He's not a worker. He is an activist. He is a politician. He loves being in rallies.
Everybody told him, you are not cut for this thing. You will never do it. Because you are not an administrator. You are nothing. You just come to parliament. You are like, you just like having fun.
Yes, he enjoys that. You see,
yes.
Orengo politics is fun.
But that cannot help the people of Siaya. Siaya remains undeveloped because activism does not build roads, and neither does it equip hospitals.
Iko siku nitakuja kukualika niseme karibu, Your Excellency Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Governor ni noma si noma.
Mombasa has had the bad luck of having politicians for governor. people who are just good at yapping, people who are just good at talking, but they can't do anything for those people.
Governor ni fire si fire.
We had Joho for 10 years. Imagine a county suffering an accident of having Joho as the governor for a whole 10 years, because that is an accident. 10 years. And then when he left, he held the hand of this Abdul Somad guy. People in Mombasa do not even know whether they have a governor. When you go to Mombasa, you'll find some animals on the streets, some sculptures. That is the most development that this guy can do for his people. But you will never miss him in any political rally for ODM.
Watu wajue kwa nini tunashikana katika mambo ya broad base. Tumeelewana lakini paka hapo.
The people of Mombasa are really suffering. I cannot imagine a second term for Abdul Somad Nasir. I cannot imagine it. Now, let us not dwell there. Let us go to what I'm calling the workers. The workers, the administrators, the managers. These governors focus strictly on service delivery. They will stay away from politics for as long as possible. You will hear them say that we are not talking politics right now until next year.
Ile kitu tu ninajua saa hizi nilisema siasa kwa Wamatangi ni la.
On top of that list, and this is my candidate for the best performing governor in this country, is Kimani Wamatangi.
Mimi ndio sitting governor wa county ya Kiambu. Mimi ndio governor to be wa Kiambu. Don't be in doubt in your mind.
That name, Kimani Wamatangi, came from when he was an MP, where he used to give people tanks because there was a water problem in his area. So the guy is always development focused.
Mimi niko na shida ya watu wengi ndani ya county ya Kiambu. Sisi ni wengi sana kwa hii county.
He has avoided politics for as long as possible, and he has maintained that for as long as possible.
Ndio nikasema kwanza waniwache nimalize hii kazi kidogo kidogo, barabara nimalize, imebaki December ndio mimi naingia kwa siasa. Tuko pamoja jameni?
I had some numbers about Kimani Wamatangi that actually blew my mind. That in just 4 years, because he's just been governor for 4 years, he has revived 4 major level 4 hospitals. Either revive or build. And then he has built 26 new level 3 health facilities across the whole of Kiambu.
Can I surprise you? Kiambu County for the last 4 years has invested 2.6 billion shillings in the health sector in terms of construction of health facilities. Of these level 3s, Governor Wamatangi has constructed 26 of them.
Do you understand what that means? 26 level 3 hospitals that are fully equipped with modern technology and modern equipments.
X-ray machine that has been brought in by Governor Wamatangi.
I could not believe the videos that I was watching. Not to forget, roads in his area are not left behind.
Na huku kaunti mbalimbali nchini zikiendelea kukabiliwa na kucheleweshwa kwa fedha za hazina ya barabara kutoka kwa serikali kuu, Kiambu imechukua mkondo tofauti kuhakikisha ajenda yake ya maendeleo inaendelea.
Yesterday I saw some news about the roads in Kiambu that he's willing to do the impossible to just make sure that roads are going to be passable.
Serikali ya kaunti ya Kiambu imepeleka mitambo yake ya ujenzi katika mradi unaofadhiliwa na fedha za kaunti kwa lengo la kujenga na kukarabati barabara maeneo mbalimbali.
Now, the second person is Irungu Kangata of Murang'a. Now, this one has consistently been rated among the top performing governors in this country. All the polls have rated him, whether it is TIFA, Infotrack, all these people.
In fact, the next developmental agenda for Murang'a is to turn it to a manufacturing hub.
If you go to Murang'a County, it is obvious that there's a governor who works for his people.
If in 3 years, this is just 1.6 billion.
The third one in this list is Anne Waiguru.
It was looking more than Aga Khan.
As a matter of fact, she's the reason we are doing this video, because if Odhiambo never spotted that level 5 hospital in Kirugoya, probably we will not be making this video. But it is a clear sign that she has really been working for the people, and you will rarely see her in political rallies. She's always working for the people. Now, I have number 4 and number 5, which are not really exempted from politics. They involve themselves in politics, but they've also been termed as people who really work for their people.
Katika nafasi ya pili ni gavana wa Trans Nzoia George Natembeya.
George Natembeya has actually been ranking very high in terms of the rating for governors. And the other one is Simba Arati of Kisii.
Get us the Kisii mother and child hospital. I also want us to show that, because I am going to Kisii, because Luos really abused me yesterday for showing this. They say that they said that I am. There's one who is called Dikembe, who works somewhere in these ministries. Abused me and called me daft for sharing this thing, and I was like, surely just Google.
You see, there were many ways of making this video. I could go to all 47 counties and rank these governors. As a matter of fact, that's still a video idea. If you guys would like me to go through all the counties in this country and show what the governors have been able to do for their people, I'm actually down. I think I could do such videos. 47 of them showing exactly what these governors have been able to do for the people. But in real sense, in this one video, I could not cover all the 47 ones. But the formula is clear. You do not need a complex audit to figure out which governor is delivering or the one who is not delivering. Waswahili husema, chema chajiuza, kibaya chajitembeza. So here's the formula. If your governor is consistently on a political podium, shouting into the microphone every weekend, then most probably that governor is going to fail you, or he's already failing you. You see, the governor on top of this list are not talkers, they are doers.
Me, I'm just here to tell a story of what governors are doing with money.
Yeah.
And Kiambu
This
County.
it is the mail ward.
Yeah.
Because the governor said that all the 26 level 3 hospitals he has constructed,
yes,
each will be specifying on a specific, something specific.
This is my take. Devolution have not actually failed Kenyans.
Be very mad. Governors are joking with our money.
The voters have failed themselves by electing politicians instead of managers, workers, and administrators.
It is only in the Mount Kenya, and I mean the Kikuyu region, where leaders are held accountable. Any elected leader in the Kikuyu region, not the entire Mount Kenya, the Kikuyu region, in Kiambu County, Murang'a County, Nyeri, the Kikuyu voter is a very mature voter. I am from Meru. It is only the Kikuyu community that are able to call out their leaders without development. And after doing around in this country, it is only in the Kikuyu region where we have so much development. Lami kompaka kwa village. Lami na kuanga mpaka. Just do a walk or something. Just do like a survey.
This information is reaching us at a very good time because now we are headed into an election year. I hope you know the kind of governor that you want to vote for and one that you do not want to vote for. Because the last thing I want is for us to come back here in 2029 or 2031 and discuss about how badly the governors have managed their counties again, even after we've had this kind of discussion.
So here we are at Kikuyu Level 4 Sub-County Hospital. Governor Wamatangi, again, being one of those governors who understand devolution, who is not busy politicking, has constructed 6 of these Level 4 hospitals. So remember, Level 3 are 26 at 1.3 billion. Level 4 are also 6 at within the same cost of another 1.3 billion. Out of 2.6 billion, we have 32 health facilities constructed in just 4 years, covering more than half of the wards. Guys, do you get what I mean when I'm talking about devolution? This is health. I've not touched anything else.
According to you, who is the best performing governor in Kenya right now? He may be in that list that I have mentioned or not. I want to hear your opinion because what I said was actually my opinion. Let's talk in the comments and please do not forget to subscribe.
Na ujue bado wanaiba Kipril.
Yeah.
Na ujue bado wanaiba even with all that work at theater hajaiba.
No, you see, like for example, the Kiambu governor is a criminal here in the UK. Well, criminal. But you can see at least
Si alikufa. Sinasikianga alikufa.
Alikufa. But you know what? Why I wanted to show that video, the guy is biased. Let's just be frank. Because someone like Anno Iguru and Arati Bana, honestly, those are fake. But it is just going. I'm just trying to show that sometimes kuna watu wanakujanga kwa hii show wanasema, oh, munaonea watu wetu wako bana.
Amesema Arati is the worst performing.
Oh, okay, sorry. Wamesema ati tunaoneanga watu wengine sijui tunakuwa marginalized. Now I'm just giving you an example of what is happening in Central. It is, at least kuna, as we are trying to mature in our politics in Kenya, they still kuna kuiba. As we slowly start reducing kuiba kwa hii kitu, now hiyo hospitali imejengwa na Anno Iguru, the next governor now must make sure that medicine, people are employed, management like Irungu does, like proper management of the facilities. Enye labda alikuwa ameanza na the first 2 years kujenga, lakini akaanza kuiba towards the end kwa sababu anaona amemaliza. So that is what I mean. Lakini ukienda huko mahali, I cannot mention hapa kwa sababu kuna watu watakuja kusema kwamba tunaonea watu huko, ni kusema kwamba there is evidence that wao wanakula pesa tupu. They eat the money and then they come to Nairobi and state that they're marginalized, especially the ones in Northeastern. Northeastern is even the worst. Unapata governor amejenga nyumba kubwa kama palace, na hiyo ni pesa ya wananchi. But here in Central, try and do something stupid like that where you don't even show a little something, hata barabara ama kitu tu. Yani you have to show if you go, just try and drive around Central Kenya and you'll understand what I'm trying to say. If you look at Central Kenya and from the last 16 years, you'll understand why we came here and we were arguing with
Kipril, the reason why Central Kenya iko hivyo. Can you hear me? Kipril?
Yeah.
Kipril?
Yeah.
Kipril? Sorry.
Ungesimama kwanza nimalize.
I
was talking with
Kipril, can you hear me?
Hey, boss. Hiyo kitu imemwasha. Okay, ongea.
Oh. No, nilikuwa nikimwambia the reason why ngoja kidogo tu, wacha nikwambie, unaona the reason why the reason why Central Kenya performs that way, it is because if they compare and they see you have done nothing, unaenda home. Ni stakes ziko juu huko. Mlima Kenya si ati ni mchezo, unangolewa. Stakes are very high in Mount Kenya, by the way. But president like Embu bado hatujafika hiyo level. Bado sisi tuko na ujinga. But Murang'a, Kiambu, Kirinyaga sijui story yao sana. Stakes are very high. Huko bana unangolewa mchana. Uliona kama vile Ndazi alienda. Ndazi tu hata aligonga tamu moja.
You can't mess. So
yeah, of course.
That is why devolution can work for us. It was built for us to work, because when he stated that in the beginning of his presentation, he says, these are mini presidents. These are small presidents. That is the president of Kiambu. Yeah, atapata ushuru ya Kiambu, atapata kila kitu, national government tampatia pesa, wajenge mahospitali, wajenge mashule, kwanza hiyo kitu ya CDF inafaa kutolewa. So the situation here is, this is what Ruto and that, I'm going to have to say this in this show, that bitch would have been presenting to us and telling us, you see, from this county to that county, this is what has been happening, this is what works in devolution. Sisi at national government nakuja kutuambia nini juu ya devolution. You know, that would have been left by Council of Governors and Kingi talking about what they've done. And now from a constitutional point of view, badala ya kuongea juu ya hivi vitu yote amefanya with the last 4 years ya kustronghold the rest of the governments, you can see the rest of them did not have any objectives to talk about. Walikuwa wamekwama kwa sababu walikuwa wanafanya ile constitution ya Moi, ile ililetwa na Jomo Kenyatta, hiyo ya UDA ni baba na mama. Squeeze everything is UDA. And obviously it was there to suck up to Ruto. Unasikia mpaka Shole anasema kwamba ati manifesto ya Ruto. When you're campaigning, it's not the manifesto of Ruto. It was supposed to be the manifesto of UDA of Kenya Kwanza. You never heard Raila talking about the manifesto of Raila. It was Azimio la Umoja. And I hope Gachagua is going to do the same. You know, manifesto here, DCP, manifesto. Like today, I could tell them struggling, Ruto talking slowly. I could tell this guy had no content. He thought it was going to be a walkover. Latif alimkanyaga vizuri, and the way the reporters were asking him questions is how it was supposed to be do. You know, usually when he has these so-called town halls, it is him lecturing people. So obviously, all he's going to do is work on his slogans. Unajua siku hizi hii slogan yake mpya ni hawana agenda, hawana akili, hawana msimamo. That is all he'll be riding on. But then when you talk about serious things where people are asking about specific questions about that specific day, which was Katiba Day, tuongee mambo ya katiba, what improvements have been done? Sijui kuna tupatie marks ya 80%. Who gave you those 80%? Ruto, I can tell you've done 5% of what is required. And the 5% is expand state house ama kitu kama ujinga kama hiyo. Nothing else is done. Hakuna kitu ukiniuliza ama kututengenezea hapo la talanta, so it's 0.0 what percent. There is nothing that man has done in Katiba. If you look at the constitution and discussing the constitution and Ruto, there's nothing he's done that works with the constitution. He strong hands the judiciary, he strongs out the legislation, military ni yake, police ni yake, kila kitu ni yake. All counties are suffering. Counties are party pesa. So that is why I wanted to play this video. This was a better analysis of what should have been discussed today. All our governors are failing us. Nasema wote. At least tunasema kwamba at least there's illusion of working in Central. Better can be done for the people of Central. I can say that. But at least kuna mahospitali, governor mwingine akikuja anakuja anaendeleza hiyo kazi na inakuwa mzuri. Anyway, Julia, mtu yetu ametoroka. Najua anafanyanga hivi sana. Najua watu wengine
I never watched this guy. Kumbe he's such a good analyst. I mean, I'm impressed.
Very good.
He's a very good analyst. And now even after all that Waiguru has done, he had to go and all those Waiguru kind of, because she's a big thief. You see? Imagine Waiguru is stealing so much and she's doing so much. Kwani wengine pesa wanapelekanga watu wakiiba after stealing?
Yani Waiguru looks like an angel.
Imagine. It's just irony that Waiguru looks like an angel. It's so ironic.
I was surprised. I mean, some of it he got wrong, but his way of looking at things make me happy. I've been watching him lately. Him, Maisha TV and the Plug TV. Those are people who do proper political analysis. Because if you watch, sometimes I would watch Latif, lakini unaweza pata amelipwa hiyo siku aongee ushenzi. These people on big new TV stations, they're paid. Unaweza pata wanalipwa, then the interviews becomes a bit soft on the person they're interviewing. Then there is the jealous man, Hanan whatever his name is. He's a jealous guy. He thinks that politics should be handed to him. The bold is good. But the problem with the bold, sometimes he goes too much into the charity stuff. And some of it is, you party appetite ya coach CS after that. Lee, whatever his name, Lee is just an ODM blogger. Huyo mwenye anaochi huyo mtu. Hiyo ni shida zako. Because everything
I don't watch Lee because, I find him with a lot of misreporting. Just like that, the other boy. anaitwa Jaji kale kamkisi, sio anaitwa that other Kisii young man.
Kenyan anaitwa Kenyan something, anaitwa Kenyan
I find
something.
him with a lot of he exaggerates a lot of stuff. So once you start blowing stuff, I stop watching you. Like putting a
And then
headline
the headlines.
putting a headline, Ruto almost dead.
Ama anasema sijui NIS, sijui something from NIS. Mpaka ina boba na unaangalia tu. You know, it pops up in my feed, but you ignore them because you know it's fake. But then when you see the Big Man Report or you see Plug TV,
yeah, Plug TV is good.
Or Maisha, they have headlines. It's not too provocative, but you know it's the news you want to follow today because you've heard it somewhere else. That's what they don't get. They don't get that.
Plug TV is
Ile news ya leo.
It doesn't blow it.
You don't blow it. You just connect the dots hivi na inaingiana vizuri. You don't have to exaggerate anything. You don't have to tell me. There are a couple of guys who started when we were in what do you call it? When we were doing the Azimio thing for 2 years. And they just do the same thing, sensationalization of stuff, because you find a small clip of about 15 to 30 seconds. Furuta kabisa makuna shidwa. Did I come to hear him talk, or I wanted to watch that clip they got from the public? You know, something they might have gotten on TikTok. Na wanatuonesha tu hivyo.
They don't. Some are good. They don't blow it.
But I'm seeing Ruto anaenda. Huyu anaenda panda. That one is either by sickness or by this thing, because unaona anaconda.
Nimemwita anaconda.
Amekaa vibaya sana. When I let you contribute, alafu tutoke kwa sababu yetu ajua na tabia mzuri anatokanga tu. Imagine ametuacha tu hivyo live and he wonders why we avoid coming.
Yeah, because we don't want this kind of a scenario. Either tuko kwa show ama tuko kwa show. You know what I'm saying?
Angesema anafunga tu, it's okay, anaenda home, it's fine. It's not a must.
Sio must.
Hata ana anajua. But I did not know your name 6 with the Ann. Hata anaitwa Njeri.
Ati ana anaitwa Njeri.
Your name 6.
Njeri ni wengi. Njeri ni wengi.
From the mount. Na Wamboi.
Wamboi hata Wamboi ni wengi.
Wambo wanaitwa bubu ama siku hizi wanaitwa bubu.
Wambo.
Tasikia wanajitanga bubu siku hizi. Bobo. No, bobo. Wanajitanga bobo. Wamboi ni bobo. And you want to add anything else to talk it?
No, because nani ameamua tuzubaye hapa.
It's not nice.
I'm out of this. Watch, nita kusema aje. I don't know what I saw today. Okay, one, Ruto kupigwa na mawe, kupigwa na hiyo motokedia Ruto. Hiyo ilikuwa jana.
Ilikuwa Murdikir.
Very disrespectful.
I didn't think he expected that. You know, we are warrior people. You know, Kalenjins. Okay. My community, Julia, my community, you know, someone coming here Kisamanga, I never stop him because it's true. My community is sana. And if they want something, they will attack. You saw that.
Sasa, Kenya has become so disrespectful. Ruto, I was asking Jiru jana, can Ruto anaweza Trump akisikia kuna vitu kama hiyo mahali anaweza enda?
Na Trump Trump is not stupid, eh?
Hmm.
Trump ataenda mahali anajulikana na anapendwa. Trump is not a fool. Hata akiwa mjinga hivi, he's forced by his intelligence to anaambia bana boss,
He will listen to
you
them.
can't go you can't go to New York.
Yeah.
Because you know New York is a blue state na ni nyumbani kwake, but
Okay,
he does not go.
Not that he can't go, he goes. But if he hears there is violence, hawezi enda.
Siku hizi anakuanga kwa malirago kwa tu kwake.
Mm.
And he knows what to do.
Hawezi enda. Hmm?
What for? Why would you want to embarrass yourself?
Mm-mm.
And then what was he going to save there? Murdikiri angeenda kufanya. What has he changed that Gachagua has destroyed?
Mm.
You know, when he stole the elections for Murdikiri, alijaibisha na huo. Sasa anakuja kutuambia juu ya university. Who said Murdikiri wants a university there?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's that stupidity. You know, Julia, people do not want education. Education is enough. Tumetosheka nao. Malizana, patia hawa kazi, hawa watu wenye wamesoma wapatie kazi. Nobody wants to go to school anymore. Because it's not
people want to
attractive.
go to school, but Tuto has ruined the school, the sense of school. So people don't see any importance. Hmm? Alafu, hiyo story ya nini, hiyo story ya, okay, we want universities like America, but we know he was lying. We know he was lying. Imagine ni kufulu hawa watu. And fooling those people. Hmm? So, why say such nonsense? Mbona uropokwe hiyo ujinga?
I could have talked about something
It's
even
like,
more
it's
important.
like telling your wife you buy her an aeroplane. Si anaweza hata kukumwagia chakula. Unaona? Hata si aeroplane. Kuna vitu abia bibi yako atamani kukumwagia uji. You shouldn't. Even your children can look like, daddy, what's going on? You sick in your head? So Ruto behaves like that. He says things that he knows are not going to happen. Si wewe sikuje uone Nyandarua University penye ilikuwa inaanziwa na stadium pale Olkalau. Na wakaanza. I swear these people are crazy kids.
Now imagine, angesema kitu kama technical hospital ama sema analetea Murdikiri a technical college ya kutengeneza mbao ama kutengeneza woodworking, metalwork, mechanic.
Why say it?
Ile
Why say it? Mbona aseme?
Kuja kutuambia hapa sasa. And you can see they're all corrupt. Mpaka Tangeno alikuwa amepatia mabarua. It is awful. It is awful. You know, it is normal. And you know what Alex came and said here earlier on? It's true. Wote wanapatia kama barua. Hata wa nini? Wa opposition. Wote wanapewa. You cannot tell me Raila never used to get a bunch of papers from Uhuru. It is a habit. Mzango alikuwa akifanya TSC, he almost fainted when he started finding out that those things were happening. And it is expensive. But what TSC, the last time I had TSC that was before election, it was 200,000. Sasa imefika 400,000 aje?
That's so unfair.
Sasa mimi nikuulize, wewe your parents wameuza mashamba zao zote huko nyumbani because wameinherit from their grandparents. You know, we've got problems around again. Especially wachana nyinyi Gen X, you guys are okay. Millennials were the last ones to have a little bit of hizo makwota hivi kidogo kidogo, and we are trying to keep those ones. We're talking about ancestral land, by the way. We're not talking about kitu ingine. So, hii kitu, what are you going to tell me about selling that quarter or that point huko nyumbani ndio upate kazi TSC? Na umesoma hiyo miaka yote, you struggle. Huh? Imagine that.
It's sad.
Julia, did you go through that as a teacher actually? Let's just be honest.
Okay, I wanted to comment that it's just that I didn't want to engage in that debate so much. Hiyo ya TSC. Let me say this. It's kind of a recent thing because
it's the last 10 years, by the way.
nimekuwa Kenya for some time, so I know it's kind of a recent thing because I know teachers who have barely worked for 5 years that were just hired normally, especially were high school, and especially in Mount Kenya region. Kuna walimu, they just get their jobs normally. They didn't bribe anybody. They are called for interview, kunakuanga na marking scheme. But sasa hiyo kitu ime-escalate in the recent past. Sana. Saidi ime-escalate. And I was asking someone why someone should pay 500,000 when pension ya mwalimu hata haipiti milioni mbili. Most of those who are paying 500,000, pension yao haiwezi fika hata milioni mbili. So why should you pay 500,000 for that job in the first place? It doesn't make sense. It's a big lie that that's a good job. It's a big lie. It is not worth it to pay the 500,000. It's not worth it to sell your land to pay.
But you've got to understand. You've got to understand the desperation, Julia.
No, it is a creation. Let me tell you, Kip. It's a creation by the politician that you need to buy them to get the job. It is not true, especially for high school teachers. They don't have to. The schools need the teachers. And at one point, they don't even have enough teachers in all subjects. I know, like in Mount Kenya, they are always hiring. They are always recruiting. And it's not schools that recruit, it is TSC. And even schools are always hiring to an extent, they have to hire teachers on BOM. I know young people who have barely worked for 2 years and are already in the US high school. Well, barely worked with.
That is another thing. They are being drained, and
yes. So the schools don't even have enough teachers, especially in Mount Kenya region. So you don't have to bribe somebody to get the job. I know people in fact, let me tell you, Kip, I know people wakikria university wanapata TSC number, wanapata job. So it's a lie by politicians that you have to bribe them to get that letter. And Kenyans, because wanapenda ukora.
I think it's certain regions. I think it's certain regions that they are being told that is.
Nimeshanga Rift Valley imekuwa corrupted. Rift Valley imekuwa suddenly so corrupted. I think kitambo watu wa Rift Valley hawakuamini na corruption. Lakini nimeshanga Rift Valley imekuwa corrupted suddenly.
No, we've always been like this. No, Julia, acha kujidanganya.
I don't know. I'm so surprised that wamekuwa corrupted. From the time of I can give you several evidences. Angalia, Rift Valley ndio wanaamini kuuza shamba kupeleka watoto army. Rift Valley ndio wamedanganywa hii kitu ya Switzerland. Ni Switzerland, Netherlands. Hii kitu ya Netherlands. Isn't it? Keep. Wameuza mashamba, they have been conned proper. Now, Rift Valley are the ones coming up, na pengine Western, actually they are paying 500,000 to get a TSC job. Let me tell you, I will make sure I track the next interviews that teachers keep. Na nitakupatia feedback ya Mount Kenya region. You will be surprised with the feedback that Mount Kenya teachers are still walking into the interview office and being hired without paying anybody a single coin. That is the thing that you people are saying, that Mount Kenya, to a larger extent, they know their rights. To a larger extent, they know their rights, and they insist on their rights, and they don't take anything less than that. So, mimi nimeshangaa sana. It is not worth it to pay 500,000 for a teacher's job. I don't even think they are pensioning. Au wenye walipa 500,000 pension yao hataifiki haifiki Kip. They don't need to do that. I'm very disappointed. But tracking down TSC has become corrupt more and more, especially from, like you are saying, from Uhuru, Ruto reign to Ruto reign. Ruto reign now is worse and worse and worse. You see, when Kibaki started with this hiring thing, it was very clear with proper marking schemes. I've sat in interview panels in the days of Kibaki and it was very clear, like
Can
clear. Yani kipu ungepata job kama uko qualified.
Can I say something mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you must understand me.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between a Kikuyu and a Kalenjin is, I'm talking about politicians. I'm not talking about the general public. The difference between a Kalenjin and Kikuyu politician is the fact that they're both thieves. What in easy. But the Kikuyu politician will steal and put it back into the community. Utapata Mkikuyu ataiba na kuna maduka atatengeneza huko yake, lakini it's in his or her community. This is a kama shopping center ama kashule hivi. So that means money circulates there. You understand what I mean? It circulates inaendelea. You guys will not feel the impact because at least business goes on, and that was actually the model of Kibaki. Kibaki wasema ukiiba muiba, lakini make sure you don't do what my people do. Mkazile ataiba, you'll take, first of all, he'll take everything. Number two, ataeka chini ya mattress ama ataenda kuinvest outside the country. So what is the difference? Why do you think people are suffering?
Ama anyang'anywe na akina nani wapeleka watoto Netherlands, then they are conned.
Yeah, it is awful, but it's the truth. Me, I rather have another few years of Uhuru. I don't like Uhuru, but I rather the way Uhuru ran it. Because I could do business, I could buy food, I could complain but not feel like, right now, the way people are feeling in Kenya. That is the thing that Ruto does not understand. Ruto anasema, sinafanya vile Uhuru alikuwa anafanya. Why people hate me? It's because he's just too greedy. He takes everything. I'm not condoning corruption by the Njeri. I am not condoning corruption. It's just the way Kalenjins do corruption is to the magnitude of harming us. We just saw that example of what Big Ban has been showing right now. Watu wanachukua kila kitu. Yani ni kama wanatoka kutoka county and then they take everything. And the kind of corruption that is happening right now, I'll tell you a story. Tell you a story and you'll understand. There was some business I needed to do. And I'm not going to say which office it was. Yani niliambia ukitaka kuingia ofisi, they inspected everything. Waliangalia glasses yangu. This was even before Ray-Ban was becoming popular. They told me no glasses, no phones, and then unafanyiwa nini hii kitu ya kelele nafanya hiyo kitu. No metal objects. Njo muingie kwa hiyo ofisi, then you discuss what they need to discuss with you. When I finished that discussion with them, kumbe ilikuwa kuitisha pesa. I did not have that money. Me, I thought I was coming to do actual business. Ikabidi tu nitoke because I cannot, do what they were telling me to do. You go to that office unawapatia pesa na then they will do the job for you. But what they were doing, you could not enter that office with any devices. Anything, you cannot record them. And you know why they started doing that? Because of Mike Mbuvi.
What about
Sonko, apparently Sonko, what yenye na releasing by the leave the one he's releasing. Leave the ones he releases. That guy has a hard drive of a lot of big shots in Kenya, politicians, on record. Why do you think they never hit him?
Who are now record wakiwa wapi? That's my question.
First of all, there are those idiots. Nasikia kuna wajinga wenye wanatumia simu, wataongea naye normal kwa simu, atarecord hao. Ama the ones he's going to meet them in public, atawarecord. Sonko, you cannot arrest that man. He's very hard to bring down. Some big names, you'll be surprised. He's got the recordings. He's hidden them somewhere. And he tells them, I have a copy.
This is crazy.
So there are people even inside the, what do you call it, this government offices. I'm on record. That is why he survived this long. Why do you think Baba Yao aliyeko prison and then Sonko akweko? Sonko is a cartoon. Usicheze naye Msava. That guy is a powerful guy because of that. Because of extortion.
Siku moja watamuendea akicheza.
He's got contingency plans.
Wow. Keep mimi
Aya,
naenda
sisi twende.
kulala. Wacha na
Tulale
changa.
tuachane na huyu mtu yetu. Acha kuja apate screen iko empty. Anyway, thanks
Mhm.
for a chat.
Sawa
Good
sawa,
night.
good night.
Sawa. I had gotten lost kwa internet, ni sawa. Naona wakereketo wako hawana story, wamekuja na wakaenda. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, Wairimu anasema no, my network failed, so I'm trying to set it up, but ni sawa. Yeah, anyway, thank you for those people who came na wale wanangojea. New police uniforms Njiro, gazeti headlines. Yeah, si unajua hiyo ni tenda. Hiyo ni tenda tu inatafutwa tu, hapo hakuna kitu kipya. They have to do that so that they can give a new tender. So hapo hakuna njoo za kufara. You know what they are doing. Yeah, wanataka kukula kabla waende nyumbani. Polisi wa Kenya all the time kubadilisha uniform inabu. Hata magari watabadilisha sasa, watatoa yellow waeke green. Ngoje uone. You can say you can help it, but that is the new country which we have called Kenya. Unfortunately. Yeah, I'm sorry I got lost. Yeah, so sijui kama mnanisikia. But mapanelists wangu ni wale ambao they cannot hold. Okay. Yaani Kipulila ako tayari studio ichomeke. Nasi. Kipulila bana. Hata wewe. Naweza excuse Julia kidogo, lakini wewe huwezi hold the studio. I was not going forever. Yeah, I just I lost capacity of my internet, so it was not something in my own making. So it was not something in my own making. So sorry for that. Nafikirianga Kipulila ni rafiki, kumbe Kipulila sio rafiki. You cannot keep people busy. Haya, yule anataka kuingia kwa show ingie sasa. Tumerudi tena sasa, so we can react to some of those videos tumecheza. Our friend Keter. Gachagua will be in America for 50 days. Yeah. So hata Gachagua ameachia, hata Ruto mwenyewe amemwachia open field afanye kenye anataka sasa. So wameachia open field, they do whatever they want to do now. So hawatalaumu, hataanzia tukusema we are being blocked. Ni kama the political space iko na mtu mmoja, na sasa Gachagua ameacha political space ikiwa open. Sasa people cannot blame. Yeah, people cannot blame that they are being sidelined or kicked. Now we have an opportunity of doing things as the year. Okay. Sawa. Akina Stony PK, they usually come in the evening. What are you talking about? I've missed it. So I think Kipulila amecheza video ya Wamatangi hapa. I still believe in Kenya. Hata huyo gavana anaonekana ni kama anafanya kazi there, still below the bar. Ile kazi gavana anafaa kukuwa akifanya actually more than what they portray they can do. So, but anyway, sahi, because of being used to lazy people, tukiona mtu mmoja ni kama anajaribu kufanya kazi, we yell, tunasema mtu amefanya kazi sana. No, these guys are not trying. Yeah, these guys are not trying. They need actually to do more than what we think they are supposed to do. Yeah, okay, Lisa. So I think I'm not getting entrance. Let's meet tomorrow.